On 3D tonight, in need of care, old too soon. Children with cancer, a reason to hope. And the eyes in the sky, chopper coppers. Good evening and welcome to 3D. 1 in 5 families in Britain has a parent with dementia, the incurable disease that destroys the mind. Alzheimer's is the commonest form. It already afflicts 500,000 people, and that number is set to rise as our population ages. But it's being discovered that what was once thought to be a geriatric condition is affecting people in their middle age.
Put the double lock on inside with the white key. And get the little key.
Tom Ashton got Alzheimer's in his early 50s.
Once I see that's across like that, I know the burglar alarm's on. So
his memory gets worse every day.
shut the doors. I'm happy that everywhere is locked.
Come on, Jerry, you've got to come round shopping, that's right.
Jerry Farr is 55, but he behaves like a child. He's been married to Irene 30 years. He can't even remember her name.
Jerry, you mustn't tap.
Hey, Jerry. All right, love.
Come here. You mustn't tap.
If I get lost, I've had it. Because with this Alzheimer's, if you get lost, you don't know where you're at. I know I've got a tongue in my head, and I can always ask people, and I'm pretty good at asking. I can, you know, so I do the same thing, a repetition every day. Do you like that word? It was good, wasn't it? Repetition. I was in the army, you know. Brilliant. Which way you walking?
My main problem is his tapping. He taps everybody on the bottom. He's been barred out from his local pub and different people find it offensive. Though I do explain to them, you know, and most people understand, but you do get people that are very funny with you. Love it, dog. Jerry, will you behave?
Some days you get your knickers all in a twist. And there's no way out. You don't know what you can do. You can't go and take a tablet or an aspirin and then just say, oh, I'll be all right in an hour. It's hard to explain, very hard to explain.
Come on, Jerry. This way, love. This way. No, Jerry. No, Jerry. No.
In Britain, over 17,000 people under 65 have Alzheimer's. Many need round-the-clock care, but support services for younger sufferers are almost non-existent. Liverpool is one of only a handful of places providing facilities for this age group.
This is our little group, and we have a good time. Once we get together, we have a bit of crack, bit of this and bit of the other. And then we go home, and then we come back tomorrow. And it's okay, I enjoy it. I didn't at first. Oh, I said I can sit in our house and look at the four walls. But as time's gone on, I enjoy it. I've got to enjoy. Got to enjoy. Joy is of the best of this world that we're in.
Jerry's off again.
Oh, it's all right. Look for the bed.
Thank you, Jerry.
Look for the bed.
If it was any better, I couldn't stand it.
The Young Alzheimer's Group are taken out every week by Health and Social Services. But outside Liverpool, most younger sufferers end up in day centres with geriatrics and grow old before their time.
Where else did you go? Dad? Dad, where else did you go? Did you go to the shops?
Shops.
Yeah. Did you go to Leo's? Shopping? Shopping with me mum? Yeah. You're going to have a sleep now? You're going to have a sleep? And we have to lock the door on him and everything. It's like, you know, it's sort of strange. It's like a kid again, you know, he's being like a young child. And sometimes you have to tell him off and for doing things, and that's where it's difficult really, because it's me telling my dad, not my dad telling me, you know.
You miss the communication, you know, because we've been married a long time, and you know, the children have grown up. We've got grandchildren now, and he doesn't understand. You know, when we had our first holiday on our own, you know, it was different. You know, we should be going out now, and you know, we haven't got the ties now of the children growing up. But now I'm looking after him, you know. He doesn't know.
As doctors become more aware of Alzheimer's, they're identifying an increasing number of younger cases. But early diagnosis provides little comfort. With Alzheimer's, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. The deterioration can be swift or slow. But in every case, the disease destroys the ability to learn, to reason, and to think. It's irreversible.
I'm all right, but I wouldn't like to end up like some people that I've seen. And that's why I'm doing all these things. I'm all right, I'll live for hours. I don't know why they've got me in this How's Your Father, but I'm okay. They're the brains, not me. I've seen the specialists, I've had head shrinks and all that carry, but I'm all right. I'll live for hours.
The Alzheimer's Disease Society has warned the government we're heading towards a healthcare crisis, with the disease set to hit 1 in 10 people over 65 and no cure in sight.
No, Jerry, no, you mustn't do that, no.
I'm getting married July the 2nd, and we actually decided to bring it forward because of my dad, because I wanted him there, and I want him to walk, and you know, I want him to act as if, you know, like a normal father does with a daughter, walking me down the aisle, and
we went dancing together. We used to go a few times a week, ballroom dancing. We still go social evening, you know, to the police club. When I was first told, it frightened me. You know, I thought, I'm not going to be able to look after him. But I don't know, you just do. I mean, if I didn't, who else would?
Jerry's condition has deteriorated recently. He can no longer go out alone and he needs help with dressing. His family still hopes he'll be able to give Jeanette away on July the 2nd. An address for further information about dementia will be given at the end of 3D. Few things can be worse for a parent than to be told your child has cancer. It's a crisis that affects the whole family. Everyone's lives must revolve around the sick child's needs. For the last 20 years, one man who knows exactly what they're going through has been fighting to give families the support they need.
Almost every week for the last 3 years, the Stone family have driven the 50 miles to the nearest hospital that can give Matthew the treatment he needs.
He hadn't been very well for a while, and they discovered that he had leukemia. He doesn't really know the full effects of it. He just thinks of it as having naughty blood.
The Stone's destination, the Royal Hospital for Sick Children in Bristol, a specialist teaching hospital and a centre of excellence for the treatment of childhood cancer, with success rates 25% higher than the district hospitals of the region. The Stones are able to come to the Royal because of the efforts of one man who knows just what it's like to have a child with cancer in the family. "20 years ago, Bob Woodward was told that his 8-year-old son Robert had cancer.
Our life changed on the day that we were told that Robert had this awful condition. It was the 21st of February, 1974. It was 10 minutes past 2 in the afternoon. You know, it's etched in the mind. I think the first feeling was one of absolute disbelief. How could such a lovely little lad have such an awful, awful problem?
For the Woodwards, a terrible ordeal was worsened by inadequate support for distressed parents.
I found that I was simply drained when we sat and watched Robert suffering. I think the first thing that really got me was the fact that so many other parents were just simply sleeping on sun loungers or in the corridors. And I suppose I saw the situation as something of a challenge.
Bob gave up his successful career as a property developer and looked for a way to help the other parents.
I had a property with my brother, and we renovated that so that my wife became the housekeeper, I became the maintenance man, and we began looking after families, and complete families. And I don't think I've ever had greater joy than sitting here in the window and seeing those families go by at the weekends together as a unit.
Robert Woodward eventually died from his cancer, but his death inspired his father to dedicate the next 20 years to doing all he could to improve cancer care for children and ease the burden on their families.
I had money, I had time, I had all the ingredients, and I don't think I could have been forgiven. I wouldn't have forgiven myself if I'd simply walked away from that situation.
Today, Bob's charity CLICK, the Cancer and Leukemia in Childhood Trust, runs 6 homes from home so that parents no longer have to sleep on floors to be close to their children.
Parents travelling long distances can come and stay, and as they go through the door, they feel lifted. They've come from a long, long day. They've probably heard the most horrendous news that a son or daughter has got this awful problem or nothing more can be done. But they know they can come to Click House. We cater for the whole family and look after them as a unit, and I think that's absolutely vital.
CLICK recognises the intense stress on families living with cancer.
Get your blood now.
Yeah, that's right.
I lost my father 3 years previous with cancer. When they said Alicia had cancer, I just thought I was going to lose Alicia. So I just broke down in tears, wouldn't let Alicia go. It's made me very depressed, crying all the time.
That's it.
I don't look into the future, I just go day by day. See how things progress with Alicia.
To help families like Alicia's, CLICK funds 10 domiciliaries, travelling nurses who help with cancer treatment in the home.
What time were you there having platelets?
Got there at about 7. It might still be a bit inflamed, but...
We had no idea of the implications of it all, of just how awful the treatment was going to be.
Manage that today first.
It's hard to imagine how dependent you become on other people. I mean, this is something that you just can't cope with on your own.
But perhaps the most significant step Bob took was to campaign for and part fund one of the first specialist children's cancer units in the UK, here at the Royal in 1976.
The awful thing in those days was, of course, that we were told, and we actually witnessed the fact that 70% of all the children who were diagnosed to have any form of cancer died. Now that situation is completely reversed today. The most recent statistics, I think, came out in November 1989, and that showed clearly that 70% of all the children were surviving.
The Royal's achievement offers hope to families whose district hospital cannot offer the same level of treatment as a teaching hospital. But with the reorganisation of the health service into self-financing trusts, Bob Woodward fears that this extra chance of hope may be denied because of the extra cost to the districts.
The basic reason for this is that in a teaching hospital it will cost, say, £600 or £650 per bed night, And in a district hospital, it may be as low as 250. So you can see there's going to be a big temptation to keep children in the districts, and that must not happen. We're playing with children's lives.
For the Stones, it's absolutely vital that Matthew can continue his treatment at the Royal. Last July, he relapsed, and his treatment had to begin again.
Walking through the corridors, as I've done now for the last 19 years, I shall meet people who've been told that their child's just relapsed after they thought their child was going to be cured. I know what that's like too. There will be others whose child is in having an operation, and those hours that they're waiting to see the bed come back again are the longest hours in one's life. There will be those too who will be just elated, and we share all these joys and sorrows with them, and we just got to go on fighting and aiming as high as we possibly can until that's the story for every one of them. I've travelled on a journey that I wouldn't perhaps have chosen to travel. Nevertheless, some wonderful things have been achieved, and just literally hundreds and hundreds of children and families have been helped.
A quarter of children with cancer are not being referred to centres of excellence like the Royal, even though survival rates are higher for children attending them. If you want to know more about leukaemia in children and the work of CLIC, an address will be given at the end of the programme. Many of us will have seen a police helicopter hovering overhead and wondered, what are they doing and what can they see? To find out, we've been up with them in a helicopter equipped with the latest in video cameras with thermal imaging, a 24-hour eye in the sky.
The fight against crime has taken to the skies. This is X-Ray 99, one of 17 police helicopters in Britain today. It's £1.2 million worth of technology. The cost to the taxpayer, £370 every hour that it flies. One of the unit's 4 observers is Sergeant Graham White.
I joined the police to go out and arrest people, to arrest criminals, people who are doing wrong, to take them off the streets so they're not committing further offences. It is a thrill when you do locate somebody from the helicopter, a suspect who has evaded the police units on the ground, and without the helicopter, the chances are that they would never be arrested. You locate these people, you guide the officers on the ground to where they are, and they are arrested as a result of the helicopter. It's a little bit frustrating sometimes, though, because you're sat there 300 or 500 foot above the suspect, and the action's all happening downstairs.
Below, a stolen motorbike. It's lost the pursuing police cars.
You can see the pillion passenger looking up at the helicopter, obviously aware that we're with them at this time. And their attention's taken up so much actually looking at the helicopter. That oncoming car, they didn't see it while the last minute. Slam the brakes all on, lose the balance and actually fall off the bike. Bit of a panic job here. We can't get the bike going. Pillion passengers off. They see the first police car arrive on the scene.
A stolen car and caravan. This is one of the helicopter's 80 high-speed pursuits last year. A 30 million candle power searchlight is used to warn other vehicles on the road. The driver refuses to stop, despite nearly hitting a bus. After a 12-mile pursuit, the driver loses control. He jackknifes, and the chase is finally over.
It's jackknifed, it's jackknifed. No other vehicles involved at this time.
We have a camera on board the aircraft solely for the recording of evidence. Some of the stunts that these kids in stolen vehicles actually pull have to be seen to be believed. And I think if a judge or a jury or a magistrate actually get to see these pictures for themselves, they realise what exactly the public and the police are up against.
There is a police unit coming towards him slams his brakes all on. You can see the smoke coming up off the road and starts reversing back quite quickly. Dangerous manoeuvre is reversing back to a blind bend at that time. Fortunately, by good luck, there's no other traffic oncoming. As you can see here, I don't think he'd have passed his test doing the three-point turn. Seems to get himself in a bit of a tiz-was. The car turns right here, and then he decides that enough is enough and there's more chance of probably escaping on foot. We get the pilot to land the helicopter. One of the observers on board gets out, a little bit of a struggle, and they're actually handcuffing the suspect on the ground.
We'll go and check the woods. We haven't done it for a week or so, and just see if we can get any more burnt out cars. This is a good spot for dumping them.
A routine job, finding the cars that get away. Joyriders are increasingly torching stolen cars after they've finished with them. The helicopter's annual budget, over £250,000, could provide 8 more policemen on the beat and another 4 patrol cars. But they still maintain it's value for money.
You can't really put a value on someone's life. Since we've been going now for just over 3 years, we've done over 35 life-saving jobs, and many of those people would have died had they not been rapidly transported in the police helicopter to hospital. So in terms of that, great value for money. Also, if we can take one offender off the street who would otherwise go out and perhaps steal 10, 15 more cars, commit 10, 20 more burglaries, then ultimately that's got to be good value for money as well.
Money has also been spent on military hardware, so the helicopter can see in the dark.
We have a system on board the aircraft called forward-looking infrared. It doesn't come cheap. It's very expensive, £174,000. But what it does enable us to do is to turn darkness into daylight. We're able to watch an onboard TV monitor, and people, whether it be in pitch black conditions, stand out to us like lighthouses.
Andy, we're going to a car chase. It sounds, I don't know what they're chasing. It's very fast.
X-ray 99 XW6.
99 Channel 2, we're overhead this pursuit, Hare Hills area.
Speed 55-0. It's very light. No other vehicles on the road at this time. Coming to a giveaway junction, indicating right. And now indicating left, but he's turned right onto Hare Hills Road towards Beckett Street.
Just keep the commentary going. We're getting this on Fleur.
He's going to go across the grass towards Beckett Street.
Right, get ready for a bailout here. Ooh. 99, they're still with this vehicle. He's across the grass at the moment.
There is a traffic car coming down. You can take over.
99 to the traffic car. Turn right. Yeah, stop. He's still in the car, still moving, Dave. 99 to all units. We've got the bailout. The garages, rear of those flats. Right, I've got the flat. Oh, it's straight, Dave. 99 to all units. If you get to the flat, get to the light, follow the light. The suspects have entered the flat in the middle of the light. And they're out again. 2 out this side. 99, get units to the light. We've got 2 suspects out at the moment. The police officers, that's 2 of them. That's definitely 2 of them. Right. They've got 1 arrest out the other side. Have they? So they've got 3 then? Yes. Can you confirm that you've got 3 to 12 at the moment?
Got 4 out of 5.
Oh, they've
so
got...
we're going to call that a result. And,
oh, they've got 4 now. 4 out of 5. 99, that was received. So you've got 4 out of 5. I beg your pardon. In that case, I think we will call that a result and resume.
Thank you. 4 out of 5.
1020, well done.
And by the way, the driver of that stolen car was just 13 years old. Next week on 3D, the Battle of Brownlow Farm. A woman faces eviction from her home after 63 years. That and 2 other stories next Thursday at 7:30. Until then, good night.